JD, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
How was your trip down here?
All
up here, is it?
It's up for us. It's not down.
Yeah.
It's a good trip.
Yeah.
But I was tired, so I had to sleep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy days. Well, let's start then. I've seen you come from, I was at your event in West Brom Stadium. You grew up a few streets just from there, didn't you?
Yes, behind the ground, yeah.
Behind the ground. So you grew up there, and now, was that council? It was a council estate, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was the Albion estate, which is just behind it, Cambridge Road. So yeah, it was a council estate.
Yeah. So what was the script then? So you were born there, you grew up there, and now you're buying maybe 15 to 20 properties monthly.
Yeah, so I'm very fortunate. It's definitely not luck.
No.
Because I think luck comes when you work hard and you're consistent.
Yeah.
People say, oh, you got lucky. No, I think doors open when you keep pushing all the time. So, Mom is Irish, Dad's Asian. They started seeing each other, and my mom fell pregnant. My granddad was not happy. That's my mum's Irish side of the family. My granddad was not happy one bit.
Yeah.
Because back then, interracial I think is the word you can say, just wasn't accepted.
Yeah.
So my granddad was like, when my mum told him she was pregnant with an Asian man's baby.
Yeah.
My dad was born here, his mum and dad wasn't. My granddad was like, nope, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
So you make a decision to my mum now. You either come home and live with us, and that goes away basically.
Yeah.
Or you go off into the big wide world on your own. My mum chose her family, and I grew up with my nan and my granddad and my mum behind the Albion ground.
That's incredible. So then, obviously, where did your sort of desire to win come from then? Because you didn't start buying property till past 30, was it?
Just that 30.
30.
Yeah.
But you were always a hard worker because you were grafting, and then you bought your houses. So where did the desire to win come from?
I've had that since I was young.
Yeah.
So my granddad was a big, strong, tough, muscly Irish guy who could handle himself, just put it this way. So he wasn't brought up in a weak world.
Yeah.
He was a man's man, like I said.
Yeah.
So we was brought up football, meat, mashed potato, and it was a very much I was in a man's environment.
Yeah.
You know, old school man's environment.
Yeah.
So if we play, my granddad liked to play darts. So if we played darts, there was no place for second place in that house.
Yeah.
I grew up with 3 cousins who were quite close to us, who come round, all lads. 4 cousins, sorry, who were all lads. One played football, one played golf. One of my cousins was kind of like a jack of all trades. He was like the lad who likes to climb the trees and stuff like that. And then I had another cousin who was just floated around, really. Competition was there from a very young age.
Yeah.
So, there was no points for second place around.
Yeah. Competition pushes you further, doesn't it? Most definitely.
I don't like to lose.
No,
I'm bad.
Yeah.
My team are all here. I don't like to lose.
Yeah,
Tony tries to beat me. Everything fails. Una's always trying to have a competition. Loses constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
So what was the script before property then? Because you bought a couple of properties, and then you obviously learned about how the BRR strategy and all that. What was the script before property?
So how far do you want to go back?
So let's go back to maybe 18, 19.
Okay, yeah. So left school.
Yeah.
Didn't finish school. Wasn't for me. It wasn't that I wasn't intelligent-ish. It was just that I didn't feel school was for me, basically. So left school. Granddad passed away as I left school, which was a big part of our life because he was like the father figure to me. I was in a household with my stepdad and my mum and my sister, who we've got the same mum but different dads. And it was just a violent household, domestic violence, alcohol intake on the weekends fueled all of the violence that was in my mum's household, and that was from very young age all the way up. So I left home, moved in with my nan and granddad. Obviously, like I said, my granddad passed away when I actually did move in a year later, but I stayed with my nan. And then basically, you know, you just don't know where you're going in life.
Yeah, it's scary.
I had no clue, like no qualifications, nothing I was good at. The only thing I was good at was people. just speaking to people. People like me. I was always around people. But I was always that kid who was just like, right, what do I have to do to survive? How can I make money? So we used to be on something, Job Seekers Lounge benefits. So I got put on that. And then up until the age of 23, for 5 years of my life, it was just whatever I had to do to survive, basically, on benefits, just floating around with the wrong people, hanging around with the wrong crowd, and just doing wherever it took to make sure that, you know, I could survive, basically. And then I met a guy a few years later. Mum passed away, when I was 23. Yeah. I think I was 23. I don't know the exact thing. Sorry, but that sounds really bad. Just, I choose to block that out. Mum passed away when I was about 23, I think it was. Maybe a few years later than that, actually. And yeah, it was just like that realisation, like, holy shit, what am I actually doing here now? Like, I'm floating around, I'm doing what I need to do, I'm not really achieving anything in life, but I always knew that I wanted to do something that, because I was always into money. So I love cars, I love houses, I love clothes, not houses as in becoming a property investor developer, just I loved houses. And I used to drive around the big estates and walk around the big estates and, you know, see certain things. So again, this is where whatever you have to do to survive puts you in certain rooms and puts you around certain people. And I got this opportunity to be around a guy who just so happened to be a very well-known businessman in Birmingham city centre, who was maybe in the wrong place at the wrong time when he spoke to me the first time, but he was there. The story about him, so I was in this place where you shouldn't really be. It was like a local pub in an area, and it's not a pub you go to. It's a cliquey pub, and it's an estate pub where when someone walks in who you don't recognise, it's literally the entire pub just puts the drinks down and just stares straight at the person. It's one of those.
I know them ones,
those pubs. It's a pub that, like I said, would I go back to that pub now, today? Potentially not. No, because I don't think I'd be as received as I used to be 10, 15 years ago. And there was a guy sitting in this pub, and he was the standout guy, suit, Bentley outside. To me, it was like, why is he in this pub? But the actual story was that he split up from his partner who lived in that area, and he had children with her. So on a Friday night or a Saturday night when I used to see this man in the pub, it was because he'd just been to visit his kids, and he was a very well-respected man in the area, and he just come to have a pint of Guinness, and then he used to leave from there, and he spotted me in this pub, and over a couple of period, a couple of weeks, couple of months, he, you know, first it was like no contact, and then the second week he saw me, it was like, and then the third week he saw me, it was like that, and then the fourth week he saw me, it was like, how you doing? It was one of them. And after a couple of weeks, couple of months of speaking to me in just normal passing conversations, obviously me being inquisitive because he had a Bentley and stuff, he said, what do you do for a living? And I was like, whatever it takes to survive. And he was like, every time I'm in this pub and you're here, people around you, like, you know, like a moth to a flame. You seem to have a real good thing with people. And I said, I said, like, I know everybody in here. I've been around here a long time. And he said, you should take that. You should come work for me. And I was like, yeah, you're funny. Yeah, that's funny. Well, what can I do for you? He was like, well, basically, you do whatever I ask you to do, as in, if I ask you to drive here and get this document signed, drop this document here, go here. He said, literally, I just need someone who can run around and be like a PA. I was like, I ain't a PA, mate. Like, you're like, I don't have that capabilities. And he's like, well, listen, it's an opportunity. If you want to come and work in Birmingham and you want to be around a proper environment, and you want to be around people and you want to actually grow, you've got a skill. I don't know exactly what all your skill set is, but people like you. And that's part and parcel of the job done for what I need in my business. So after a couple of weeks, I actually said, you know what, I'll take you up on that. Let's see what happens. Best decision I ever made in my entire life, and he's the reason that I'm sitting here today.
That's incredible. So he taught you, from what I know and what I know about your story, he sort of opened your eyes to sort of the BRR model. Is that right?
No, not him.
Oh, was that another
So,
guy?
no, this guy opened my eyes to the real world.
I see.
So this guy got me into offices in Birmingham. This guy got me around business people. This guy got me around, it was like solicitors, lawyers, medical world. He showed me what the real world consisted of.
Okay.
It was a friend of mine who actually happened to be, and if anybody watches this back from where I'm from, a local doctor.
Yeah, I've heard this story,
yeah. He opened my eyes to the BRRR.
Yeah.
Because when I was 14, 13, 15, 16, we used to go and clean his gardens, and we used to look after his surgery, and he used to give us, a few pound or a pound or something, pots to kind of pop and some chocolates. Who I still speak to that guy today. He's still one of the closest people in my life, and he introduced me to the BRRR.
That's incredible. What about the other guy? Still speak to him?
No, so that's a shame. That's a big downfall, that was. Suited and booted Bentley, brought me into this world, made an absolute fortune, he did, and cocaine and red wine took over, to the point where he couldn't function without it.
Wow.
And yeah, he gave me the platform, and it's a real sad story, to be fair, because he had the world at his fingertips, and he taught me everything I knew in the business world. And then I actually, which is really, really crazy, we're talking, 13 years ago, I met this guy, or 14 years ago, so 26. And I actually brought him to the offices, my new offices on Colmore Road, a year ago. So every year I do this thing, and it's really strange. And I never forget who gave me my opportunity. And he never taught me about property. He didn't give me anything to do with property, but he gave me the start to get money.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here today, because of him. I introduced him to my team about a year and a half ago, because every year I do this thing where I have to make contact with him just to see where he's at in life, see if he's changed. Can I help him?
Yeah.
And I brought him to the office, and then we went and had a pizza. I think he drank 3 pints of pizza. I think he had 3 pints of beer, not 3 pints of pizza. He had a pizza and 3 pints of beer in 35 minutes at dinner time. And I was just like, it still hasn't changed.
Yeah.
But I introduced him to my team as well, because without him, this wouldn't be happening.
Do you think that's why? Because I think you're so given in the terms of like I know a guy that Jack Fisher, and he's on your deal. He does deal sourcing with you and stuff like that. And you're just so given in the terms that, like, he said that you come out to him, picked him up, and you just want to view the property together. Now you're modest. You're a big player. If anyone else had done that who's in your sort of position, it would be, okay, yeah, you can come, $3,000. You just done that out of just the goodness of your heart. Is the reason you do stuff like that because of people like him?
Yeah, I think what people, there's a massive misconception with me. People think I'm unapproachable because they see all the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris, the big houses, the watches, the clothes, the entourage of people around me.
Yeah.
My offices on Colmore Road, which are like exceptional. People get this misconception that I'm not approachable. I'm the most approachable person you'll ever meet in your life. It's just that I don't smile a lot. People just look at me like, oh. I think what it is, I think I'm a guy that will give you an opportunity once. That's how it is with me. If you take it, I'll support you.
Yeah.
If you don't take the opportunity and you move and you don't do something that you've asked me to help you with, you'll never get the opportunity from me again. But you'll never know.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to just block you from my phone, delete you, and not speak to you. If I see you, I will be exactly the same.
Yeah.
But you'll never get another opportunity from me again in life.
Yeah.
Never. Because I think that missed opportunities, especially from people who you're aspiring to be like.
Yeah.
Someone's holding something out and said, do this. This is what I'm telling you to do to help you on your journey. From the person that you are looking up to, and you turn it down, you don't deserve a second one.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So
I heard you say that, to be fair. I heard you say that because I knew you were coming to Liverpool next month, and then I think we had to rearrange the podcast times and stuff like that, and I thought, do I just say to him, does he want to go next month? And I thought, no, I've got him here. Let's get him. Let's get it done. Because I'm honoured for you to come on here.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I am honoured. So when you said yeah, I was like, let's just make it work. Whatever I have to do, let's make it work. So I appreciate that. And the question was, do you think because of people like that then, is that why you are the way you are, and you give people the opportunity and you give people the chance to?
Yeah, I will always give opportunities, and I will always give chance, and I will always give people a helping hand and a leg up. And I'm not in it for fame.
Yeah.
I'm in it for money. I want to get paid.
Yeah.
I want to earn money. I want to build a legacy. I want to make sure everybody around me is okay. This fame side of things with social media is an absolute nonsense. I'm a property developer and a property investor on social media, and people stop me in the street to take photos. It's amazing. It's awesome. It's a great feeling. But when has it been acceptable to be a property developer who's famous?
Yeah.
Like, fame is people who we watch on TV, Hollywood A-listers who do you know, Hollywood movies, footballers, you know, pop stars and stuff like that. That's fame.
Yeah.
This thing that we do here on social media, it's nuts.
It's
absolutely insane. When people stop me, and my team are all here, we get stopped a lot. People come up, ask for photos, ask for information, stuff. That's cool, love it. But it's nuts.
Yeah.
Like, to think that a property developer and a property investor on social media can be asked for photos. And, you know, oh my God, we watch your YouTube and stuff. So I love that. So giving opportunities to people who watch me, support me and do things, they deserve anyone who watches me, anyone who supports me, anyone who turns up at an event, and anybody who like reaches out to me deserves a chance that if I can give it an opportunity. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I do it.
I love that.
The support is outrageous. It's nuts. It outweighs the negative comments by a million.
Yeah. I love that. And one thing I do love about you is your realness to, like, I love money. Like, I think a lot of people hide that. Everyone is doing it for money, let's be honest. But you're just...
Listen, this social media world's full of bullshitters, full of absolute fucking arseholes. I don't know how I'm allowed to swear.
Nah, I fucking swear, it's good.
I see people, you know, sit on the fence. With splinters in their arse. And then, you know, it's not... You don't have to say things to cause drama. Yeah. And you don't have to shit stir. But, you know, if you have a belief and you actually think something's right and something's wrong, just say it. What you're going to lose a few followers. Yeah, that's it. And a few people are going to say, oh, I don't like what Steve says there, so we're going to swerve him now. Well, I'd rather you swerve me because you see what I believe in and you don't agree with it. That doesn't mean that you're right or I'm right. Yeah. It's just, I've got this to say. Whether I believe it's right is my belief. And if you say it's wrong, doesn't mean I don't like you. It just means we have a difference of opinions. But I think social media in the world today, everybody just wants to say the right thing to be liked. I don't need to be liked. I need to build. So that's my thing. I don't say things to upset people. I don't want that. And I don't attack people on social media. I don't do the disruptive thing about naming and shaming people if they make a mistake. If someone does something wrong, well, how do we know what the actual truth behind it is? We've just seen a snippet. So I don't get involved in all that. I'm not interested in it. One
thing you talked about on your event was the grey area thing. I don't know if you remember speaking about this in the
black, white, and the real world.
I fucking love that. You know, I love that. You said something about like sort of like giving an agent an incentive, basically, and everyone was a bit quiet, and then. I can't think it was one of the panelists was like, yeah, I've done that because you'd said it.
And then the next one jumped on and said, I've done it.
And I was like, I fucking love this.
But that's my problem. Now, my panel of people who come on are awesome.
Yeah, amazing.
If you come to speak at one of my events, it's because I rate you.
Yeah.
And I actually genuinely believe that you have something to offer. I don't just invite anyone. Yeah. I look at them, I look through the things, and then I figure things out. And like, will they add value? Are they telling the truth? Yeah. From what I can see? And are they going to give the people who pay to come to the events, you know, some kind of, you know, knowledge, education, inspiration and motivation? But that event that you came to in West Brom kind of explains my situation with social media. Black, white, the real world that everybody lives in and how it works. Yeah. But nobody wanted to say it until I said it. Yeah. And then as soon as I said it,
everyone's like
yeah, I've done that. That's it. Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
But that's the information that people should be getting.
Yeah.
Because you can't sugarcoat it. You have to explain the world to the world.
That's it. I think if you had the chance to do it, everyone would do it. So,
but it's not illegal.
Exactly.
You're not breaking anyone's. You're not breaking the rules. You can't get arrested. You're not doing any money laundering. HMRC are not going to come after you. You're living in the real world, and the real world works where everybody gets paid.
Yeah. That's it, most definitely. So when did it start sort of popping off for you then? Because I know, was it 26? So 30, you bought your first property.
Yeah.
And then where did the
July 2014 was the first day that I had a land registry buy-to-let.
Okay. And then from there, the momentum obviously built and built and built.
No. First 3 years, no
Slow.
momentum. Slow. Because I was working for the guy, and every time something amazing went, he'd give me 3,000, 4,000 extra money because he was making big money.
Yeah.
So every time his company did well, I'd get rewarded. Now, you've got to imagine, when I said he wanted me to be his right-hand man, PA thing, that basically meant 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, wherever he said I needed to be, I needed to go. And the first couple of months was very difficult because I was being bossed around and ordered what to do. I'd never had that.
Didn't like that.
In my entire life. It wasn't that I didn't like it, it was just because I wasn't used to it. And because I'm such a, you know, I speak as I feel, there's a load of times where I went to him and was like, listen, you're taking the piss now.
Yeah.
You got me driving to Newcastle, and then you got me driving to London
the
same day, and then back to the Midlands. And he was like, well, whatever it takes. And that's why I'm a big thing when people start working with me or for me. I'm like, have you got whatever it takes? And I think that's been instilled in me.
Yeah.
So the first 3 years of my journey was literally just like, I bought 3 properties, but I bought them cash.
Yeah, seeing that, yeah.
Yeah, I bought them cash.
Yeah.
Not big, cheap properties, nothing outrageous.
Yeah.
No HMOs, no, you know, nothing. That was just single, standard, buy-to-lets, and that was it. But to me, once I got to the third one, I was rich in my brain.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, kid from a council estate has now got 3 properties paid for, albeit it wasn't a lot of money. Technically it is, but it wasn't back then. Now I look at it, and I'm like, I'm Donald Trump. I am Birmingham's Donald Trump. Not understanding the world, if that makes sense. So yeah, I was over the moon. Yeah, and that's when it led to the conversation with the doctor.
The BRR
guy. Yeah, and we was sitting down, and he called me stupid. He actually called me stupid.
Is that because you had your cash in all?
Yeah, he didn't understand it because his dad was the first £1 million GP in the West Midlands who owns everything, and everything's debt.
Yeah.
But you imagine the first £1 million GP in the West Midlands in 1980 something.
Yeah.
And then we're in 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Look at what you think them properties have gone from.
Yeah.
And to. So, and he inherited all that. And he also built his own portfolio. So as he was a doctor, he used to buy a house every like 6 to 12 months during his whole 25 career.
Wow.
So he had a huge portfolio as well. And then when I told him that I had 3 properties paid for outright, and I was kind of bragging, he called me stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, so how did the growth come from there then? So like, obviously you realised, you spoke to the BRR guy, he said, you're stupid. And then what happened then? How did you grow what you've got now?
Well, it's quite simple when you actually think about it. The first part was, well, the first 3 properties went straight for the BRRR method.
Yeah.
Like, which you imagine, I had them over a 3 year period, so they'd gone up, 30, 40, 50, 60% in value.
Yeah.
And then I had, 130, 140,000 pounds to play with.
Yeah.
So that was like a thingy, because what I actually said to him was, he told me about the BRRR method, he explained it to me, and then I said to him, can you explain it once more? And he did it once more in that conversation we had, and that was it. It was like, okay, boom. This is it. This is how you get rich. And in that period of time that I'd bought them 3 houses, that was the realisation in my life, like, right, okay, I do have potential. I know I can do something. And then when he explained it to me, the doctor, it was literally like, okay, so now I need to be the biggest.
Yeah.
I need to build a portfolio of something outrageous so I can live the life that I want to live. So I've always had a really good eye for property. So even, like I said, I used to walk around the States as a kid, but looking at the houses, and I used to picture like what could be in there and stuff. I've always had a good eye for properties on adding value. I know like how people want to live and what they want to live in. And because I think what it is with me, I don't have any magic formula. I have common sense. Yeah. I'm very good with common sense. I can see through someone bullshitting. I can see through someone telling the truth. I can see through someone who's trying to make an extra quid. I can see when a contractor's up to no good. I'm very good at seeing through bullshit. And I think that's my common sense side of things. Yeah. So if something seems too good to be true, I just keep away from it. Yeah. I'm a realist when it comes to money. I know you can't have 100 grand and turn it into 200 grand legitimately.
Yeah.
You know, there's very few areas in the world that let you double money in a very short space of time. But I also know if you put £100,000 into property, there's a very good chance in 10 years it's going to be 200,000.
Yeah.
Because you just base it on past performances. So I got some money, bought some more investments, started to realise after about 6 to 8 months what the better investments was, like having a few flats and a few HMOs.
Yeah.
Which obviously, again, I didn't know what HMO was. I had to get educated. I had to learn. And then I quickly realised, right, I need money. And I need other people's money. Yeah. So that's when I went round to the worst thing I ever did, friends and family.
I heard you say that, and that's quite contradictory, because from what other people say. I kind of agree with that. As soon as family are involved and money involved, there's a split down the middle. Yeah. But why though?
So I'm very fortunate that because I took that job with the guy in the jewellery quarter, he introduced me to a lot of wealthy people, or what I thought was wealthy at the time. Yeah, yeah. And because everybody can see, when you meet me, forget social media and Instagram and YouTube, when you meet me as a person, you'll see straight away what I am, and you'll see exactly how I am, and you'll see how my demeanour is around people. So real people who have met me was like, how much do you need? It was never like, what you're doing it for, Steve. It was like, I need some money. And it was like, how much do you need? Yeah. And it was kind of like, not an open checkbook, but I had lots of people around me who would just do what needed to be done. There was like, well, okay. And then when I explained on buying a house, and you know, you can get a 10% return, 8% return, 15% return, because obviously in the early days, you have to give a bit more of stuff. People were like, okay, there you go, let's buy, and then let's see how you do. And because I've never missed. Yeah, yeah. So even today, you know, with JV partners from social media, I've never missed. Yeah. That's why no one makes videos about me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've never missed. Yeah. I always deliver. Yes, we've had to extend some JVs because projects have gone over and stuff, but I've never missed, never ripped anybody off, never took any money off anybody, and I've never shortchanged anybody. That's been my whole thing throughout my whole life. Yeah. And that's why there is no social media videos where people have gone, well, I done a JV with Steve, he never paid me. Yeah. Because no matter how the JV goes, whether I break even, which I should never break even, I should always be in the profit, because otherwise I'll be shit at what I do. Yeah. The person will always get paid. Yeah. So that happened before social media. I had a load of people around me who would give me, you know, not millions, but X amounts of money in pots. And we was able to buy and build at a pace that most people probably couldn't. Yeah. But again, that was years and years and years and years and years of just being me and doing what I said I would do. But the real explosion, genuinely, probably happened 4 years ago. The real explosion was 4 years ago when I got into bigger rooms with bigger people. Yeah. And then as soon as I come onto social media, it just opened up a whole new world. So like this year, 2024, this year I'm looking to buy minimum 100 developments this year. Incredible. But I'm implementing a team behind me. So people think, this is the thing, the difference. If you watch a social media video of anybody on property in this world, they buy one, they develop it, they make 30, 40, 50, 60 grand, or refinance it and pull all the money out of it. They don't have any overheads because they don't have offices, they don't have teams, they don't have a background thing that's running. So the profit's the profit, and that's their profit. With me now in 2024, even previous this, but bigger for everyone to see, if I flip a house and make 50 grand, or if I refinance a house and pull out 20 grand extra on top of what I've done, but I don't actually make 20 or 50 grand. Yeah, yeah, People aren't understanding this. I have offices, I have multiple staff members now, I have a proper team in place, I have different avenues of businesses in the property world. So it all works as one in my world. So if people are out there watching me going, how is he doing it? Well, I take investments on, and yes, I make my percentages to pay everybody else back. But now, as I've got bigger, I make less profit. Does that make sense?
It does.
People don't see that from the outside. Yeah. They just think, oh, Steve's bought 20 houses this month, he's going to make £1 million. Yeah. No, Steve's bought 20 houses and he'll probably walk away with 80 grand. Yeah. Because what I'm trying to build now is a legacy. I'm not in it. To be honest with you, I shouldn't be on social media.
Why?
Because what I'm building, no one else on social media is doing.
Yeah.
Or trying to do. There's a lot of people saying they're doing it, but there's not. And that's why you see the big developers. Well, they're not on social media, are they? But they've got to that level where hedge funds and pension funds are giving them money. I'm not at hedge fund and pension fund, but I'm also at a level where I think people need to see the real side of what's actually involved in property.
Yeah.
So none of this, financially free in 7 days, 28 days, 60 days, 90 days, 100 days, or I'll double your money, or invest in a social housing scheme and get 35% returns on your investments. So I think whilst I'm kicking, screaming, breathing and loving life, my social media is here to show people this is how you actually do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get to your social media in a sec. I just wanted to go to a little bit before. So you started raising finance with these people who had a few quid. At this point, what was your circle like? Because I know when I come to your event again in Brum, you said about, not speaking to your dad for so many years, and he was actually at the event.
He was at the back of the room.
That's incredible, by the way. What was that all about? Just did you speak to him there?
He sent me a text message afterwards and said, I know I watch you on YouTube and I watch you on Instagram, but what I saw in that room that night was incredible. He's like, especially at your own football club, because that's my team.
Yeah.
So that's my life. West Bromwich Albion are my life with my Isabella and Cruz. It's like a massive part. If you know me,
you'll
understand what that means. Like, it's my club.
Yeah.
I'm like a hummingbird.
Yeah.
My Isabella, when she first met me 10 years ago, we used to go, we lived in Aldridge and then we lived in Lichfield. And she said that no matter where I went, I used to drive past the Albion ground. Whichever way we went. So if we went to dinner in Birmingham, I used to go, instead of going that way, I used to go round and past.
Yeah.
It was just psychological. I used to move that way. But seeing my dad at the thingy was a bit nuts because, like I said, he bought a ticket. He turned up. He started speaking to my team. I didn't even know he was coming. I had no idea.
Did you see him when you were speaking?
As I got up on the stage to get everybody speaking, I saw him walk across the back room, and I was just like, okay, that's weird. And then, obviously, by the time I'd finished, he'd left. He'd already left. But he come over to me as I asked all the questions, and then I got someone up on stage to speak, and that's when I had a 10-second conversation with him.
And when was the last time you spoke to him from then? Before?
I actually spoke to him yesterday, but we don't speak very often. No.
That's mad.
Yeah.
So then my question was, you cut some of your family members off and stuff like that. Yeah.
Everyone.
So, number one, why? I can imagine why, but why? And number two, how? Which I know is a simple question, but it is hard. Well, it is hard to cut family members off, or friends. Doesn't have to be just whoever's close to you. It's hard to cut people off if they're around you. Yeah. How and why?
So you're touching on bits of my life, but my life is a lot crazier than I can actually talk about. Or put out to the world, because nobody wants to hear sad stories. Everyone wants a sad story. It's just what you do with it. But what actually happened was when my mum passed away, my stepdad, my sister, my auntie, my nan, who was my entire life, they all obviously was very upset because, it's their sister, it's their mum, it's the daughter, X, Y, and Z, and it was my stepdad's partner. At that stage in my life, I was just a nobody. So I had no money. I didn't have anything going on in life. Like I said, I was on benefits. I didn't have anything all going on in life. Nothing. Just a normal human person walking around the world. And when she passed away, I had to make the decision. So I was next to kin because I was the oldest. My stepdad was not married to my mum. They was just boyfriend and girlfriend. But for a very long period of time, 25 years, 23 years from when I was born. So when I was in the hospital, my mum had an aneurysm, and my mum was the life and soul of the party. Irish woman, loved to have a drink, and if you went in a pub, you'd hear her from outside before you even went in, because she'd be singing, and she was, she was a real sparkle. She was like my granddad. He was the same, crazy. If you went in a pub, centre of attention, he was there. So when she had the aneurysm, I went to the hospital, and I'm very funny, even though, like I said, I'm not educated as in university and college, I've got common sense and I know how to do things. So I don't listen to people. So even today, if someone phones me and says, oh, someone's been taken to hospital, when I get to the hospital, I speak to the doctor. Because human nature is to twist and not tell the full story or add bits on that make it and whatever. So I speak to doctors or whoever's in charge of whatever's going on around me. So I went to the doctor and I said, listen, I'm a son. And he was like, okay, sit down. This has happened, blah, blah, blah. What's the chance of recovery? He says, very slim, but we need to give it 24 hours just to see where she's at. She's in a coma. She's on life support. We just need 24 hours. I was like, okay, no problem. Went outside. Then obviously the whole family was, you know, adding their bits in and stuff like that. But I would listen to the doctor. Yeah. Next day came, walked in, doctor said to me, sit down, sat down, just me and the doctor, sat down, and he showed me a picture of my mum's brain, and it was split in half like a butterfly. And I think he explained something like the left brain side does this, the right side does that. If she ever comes around from the life support machine, she's going to need 24-hour constant care. She's never going to be able to speak again, she's never going to be able to walk again, she's never going to be able to do anything at all. She's going to be completely reliant on... Yeah. She's never going to get out of bed again. So he said that's like a very high probability. Like, we're there. She's not recovering. It's gone. It's done. So went into my family, told all my family what was going on. And obviously, you can imagine, I'm very calm under pressure. I'm very calm under pressure. And they just literally said, you need to make a decision. Do you want to turn the life support machine off? Or do you want to basically ride this out? So I went in and sat with all my family and I spoke to everyone, and obviously they're all crying and everyone's hysterical and stuff. And then there was like, you need to make the decision. You're the next of kin. I said, well, I'm not making it unless everybody has an input. So it went on for about 3 days, or 2 days, I think. 2 days, I think it was. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, 2 days. And then I spoke to my sister, I spoke to my nan, who's her mum. So if anybody's got more right than me, it's her mum. She brought her into this world. Yeah. And my nan was like, your mum doesn't want 24-hour care. We know. She was 44 at the time. So then I sat down and said to everyone, right, we are turning the machine off. She's not coming back in this. That is not happening. So again, I got the second doctor who told me the same thing. So we made the decision to turn my mum's life support machine off. But I made that decision, should I say. And then we had the funeral 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later. And when I got there, they put me on the back row of my own mum's funeral, my family did. And they all like literally just blanked me. Wow. Didn't let me pick where she was getting buried. Didn't let me pick anything. They couldn't totally ostracised me. I turned up at the house, my mum's house, where my stepdad lived. Wasn't welcome to really walk in. They was really funny with me. So from that day, I was just like, okay, is this how people can turn? And then obviously you can imagine over the years, it was like, you killed your mum, you turned the life support machine off. None of the real truth that actually happened. Yeah. You know how people change and stuff like that. So when I got some money and I realised I could do something in life and I still had all these people around me, it was a very simple decision for me to make. It was like, right, I'm done. And literally, I was like, my Isabella, we were sitting down together. He says, right, I'm not speaking to my dad, I'm not speaking to my nan, I'm not speaking to my auntie, I'm not speaking to my cousins, I'm not speaking to my sister. I want to move away from the area. I want to cut them all out. And she was like, whatever you want to do, you do. So that day, I changed my phone number, changed my email addresses, because some of my family members had my email addresses. We moved into a new place, in the same area, but a new house, within like 4 months. And I didn't speak to anyone for 5 years.
That's some deep stuff.
But I just stopped it, completely cut it out there and then on the spot with no nonsense. That's no bullshit. I just blocked everyone. I walked past them in the street when I saw them in Birmingham or anywhere. Didn't even acknowledge. Drive past cars. They was like waving, like opening the window. Just completely blocked them out. I've only started speaking to a few of them recently because my auntie, which is my mum's sister, has been quite ill. But again, when I say speak to them, it was like in the hospital, hi, how are you? And then I'm off again. So yeah, that's
some deep stuff. Give me shivers, that story.
Yeah,
Jesus
it's a
Christ.
very easy thing that I did.
Yeah.
And I think without doing it, I won't be sitting on your podcast today. Yeah.
Wow. That's madness.
There was all negative. It was always drama. Yeah. It was always, let's talk about what happened with Sally down the pub and Sandra here and Sarah there. And, your mate's done this and your old mate's done that and he's gone to jail and he's beat up this, and I'm just like,
don't need it. Yeah.
No, I don't want it.
Yeah.
But that was the day that my life changed when I did that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I attribute most of my success to, cutting out
to that.
people. Yeah.
So then your social media, then that has fucking took off, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Number one, why do you think that is? Obviously, you've invested, you've got your whole team here. There's a lot of people with cameras and stuff like that, and your consistency with it. How many days have you posted? Like,
187, guys. So we've been on social media 3 years, and we posted consistently since the beginning. But now we've decided, how many days are we on, D?
186 today.
186.
So that's 186 of, we've made a decision. So this is another big part of social media. I believe that I'm creating a legacy. I believe that I'm here for something very special that I'm going to pass down to my children. And I believe that we're going to make a huge difference in the property world. I think I'm going to change laws and help the supported living in Birmingham. I've got real big dreams. This is not now about, you know, can I get another Ferrari? Can I get another Lamborghini? Can I move into a big house? This is now like, can I create something that makes a difference? That when I'm not here, people go, that's how it started. Isabella and Stephen started that, or Nan and Grandad, and then great Nan and Grandad. And that's what I'm trying to get to. So I don't believe what I'm trying to achieve can happen in my lifetime, but I can put the foundations. When we started social media, I didn't like my photo being taken. Just like anybody. Don't like our face on camera. I don't like criticism, as in people going, oh, you look fat, you look thin, you know, X, Y, Z. So I was like, I don't know. Had a conversation with a very well-known person on social media, and he was like, Steve, you come on social media and you show what you do and you show how you live and you show your life, you're going to go to places you can't even imagine. Doors are going to open. You're going to just turn into this unbelievable superstar, but you've got to put 5 years in. And I was like, don't want to be a superstar. He was like, no, a superstar in the property world.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be drawn to you. You're going to get projects, you're going to get money, you're going to get councils, and everyone's going to do this, but it's a 5-year graft. I was like, I'm doing all right. We're doing okay, like, with no social media. And he basically was like, give it a go and watch what happens. So from the early days on social media, if anyone remembers, I used to have my cap down, and I used to like take pictures outside properties and stuff, but I never showed my face. Well, that went on for about 6 to 8 months, and people were really intrigued, and it was growing. I was like, oh wow, people are paying attention to what I'm doing. And then literally I was like, right, if I'm going to do it, I have to do it correctly. So Duna, the guy that just came in, he literally came into my office one day, and that story's crazy. So I put a post on Instagram, and I only had Instagram, no other social medias. And I put a post on, I'm looking for a full-time videographer. I was like, right, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to invest from day one. I'm going to do this properly. And I got a message from Duna, I think it was from Duna, saying, what's the job entail? And I was like, well, can you come to my offices tomorrow? And he was like, yeah. So he turned up at my offices. I think he caught a bus or a train there or something. And he was like, I saw a post. No, someone I know saw a post that you put out. And the way I knew him was, I sold him a camera a year ago. I advertised I've got a camera for sale somewhere, and this guy contacted me, and he bought the camera off me. And then last night he sent me a post saying, someone's looking for a videographer. Do you want to have his number? And Duna was like, yeah, sound. Duna didn't even know this person. And then he turned up.
That's crazy.
He took the job there and then on the spot. Started work on the Monday. He's been here since day one, nearly 3 years on social media. And then as it's snowballed, we've got 2 more full-time videographers. Now we have, like, you know, one of them runs something, one runs another one runs another. We have a big presence in the property world. On social media, we're this big. But in the property world, we have a decent sized presence. So yeah, social media is something that I tell every single person, if you want to be successful, you've got to scream and shout about what you do. Unless you have millions of pounds backed up in the bank, or you've got a wealthy network of people where you don't ever need to go out of your circle, social media is one of the biggest keys to success in the world today.
100%. And I was like, up until, I've literally just started posting myself.
I saw, because you didn't put any pictures of yourself on at the beginning.
I know, I did. I don't know, I was just always scared of judgment, I think, and just, I don't know what it was, but I thought, you know what, fuck it, just do it.
And that's the key.
It is, isn't it?
Just thinking, what's the worst that can happen? someone sends you a message saying that they don't like the look of you, or they don't like the skin colour, or they don't like your accent, does that affect you in any way, shape or form?
No.
Does it?
No.
It will if you can't mentally control thoughts.
Yeah.
But if you can't mentally control your thoughts and it really hurts you, you know, after it's done 100 times, it'll go.
The thing is that I don't know what's weird about it. Is that does not bother me. If someone said that to me, I'd be like, fuck them.
Yeah.
But the thought of other people I don't know, it was weird, but now I just thought today, fuck it. I'm not
That's
lost.
the key.
That is the
Fuck
key.
it. There's nothing bad can happen. As long as you just do what you're doing and you're not living some crazy double life.
Yeah.
Where people can be like, you're a drug dealer, you're, you know, another business or something else that's illegal.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing that anyone can put on social media that can harm you.
Yeah. So where then to someone like me, because I know you're quite passionate about the videography thing and having people in, at what point should I start to, because obviously, you know, everyone's got a mobile phone, everyone's got an iPhone, everyone can afford one of them Rode mics at about 80 quid or 50 quid, whatever.
And a gimbal, £80.
Exactly. What point do you start recording straight off the bat?
Day one. If you want to be successful, day one. Just put yourself out there, get yourself on there. First question you get asked is, well, I have no houses, or I have no projects, I have no developments, and I have nothing to talk about. Well, that's your brain defeating you, because your story is something you can talk about. Like, we've just discussed my past. Well, you imagine if I didn't have anything to talk about in the property world, and I want to be a property developer, well, whilst I'm going on viewings and booking networking events as in a brand new newbie, which again is all content for you, it will tell your story.
Yeah.
You can break that down over a 6-week period while you're going to networking events, while you're viewing houses, while you're teaming up with people and having coffee. Every single part of your day can be documented for a certain period of time. It's just people put blocks in the way.
Most definitely. Look at Tej. Tej had 0 properties, started a podcast, and then he bought all the properties. So yeah, definitely. But what are some of your goals then for this year? Are you happy to go into them?
Yeah, I don't really have.
Don't you?
No. People always say to me, like, I have places where I want to get to.
Yeah.
But again, if you look at common sense and you understand you got black, you got white, and you got the grey area.
Yeah.
No matter what you plan for, an obstacle's going to come in the way. So I just want to buy 100 properties this year, or 100 developments, should I say, because a mixed bunch. I would like to get to 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I just want to make sure that I'm growing my team with the right people, and I don't have any snakes around me. I don't have any bad people around me. I have to weed them out and get rid of them and keep growing. And come to the end of the year, if we've achieved a couple of those goals, fantastic. If we've got near them, awesome. If we're nowhere near them, well, I have to reevaluate for next year. But no, I'm not someone who's going to hold myself. That's got to happen because life, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
So as long as I've got realistic visions and ideas, I don't want to make anything too stressful.
Yeah.
Because the big goal, the dream big goal, is a long way away.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, Steve, again, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to have you on, and it's an honour to have you on, to be honest. Like I say, when you said yes to the podcast, I was like, fucking hell. He said, yeah, let's get it done. So again, thank you so much. One last question I'd like to ask. Who is your favourite West Brom player?
Of all time?
Of all time.
I don't know whether I'm allowed to tell the story, because he was my idol.
Go on. Lukaku was a baller, but go on, tell your story.
Okay, so have you ever heard the saying, don't meet your idols?
Yeah.
So where we lived, next to the Albion ground, there was a shop, an off-licence, and the players from West Brom, they used to train opposite the ground.
Yeah.
It's now a school.
Yeah.
But that used to be West Brom's training ground. So where my nan and granddad lived, it was a 20-second walk to the training ground. And the players used to stop at this shop before they went to training, and they used to like just get some sweets and stuff.
Yeah.
And we used to see all the players. My granddad, bless him, as he got older, ended up in a wheelchair. And we used to sit outside the house in the morning. He used to sit outside every morning. He loved fresh air. And I used to just stand with him. And the players used to pull up, and he used to shout over to the players. And they used to come over, and they knew my granddad as Nicky. And we used to speak. So I had one. I'm not going to name him, but he was my favourite. But I'll tell you who my other favourite is, so you have got a name. But this one was my idol. and I was obsessed with him. And I ended up going to an event, and he was at the event years and years later.
Property event?
Later. No, it was a football match.
Oh,
event,
sorry, yeah.
Not in a match, but a football event. And he sat in front of me, and I leaned over, and I was like, "Do you remember me?" And he was like, "I said, yeah." I said, "Do you remember a guy called Nicky?" He was, Irish Nicky in the wheelchair in Cambridge Road. I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "You're his grandson." I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And he was like, "Nice to meet you, blah blah blah." So as the night went on, I'm buzzing. The guy remembers me.
Yeah.
Remembers me, so I'm not just saying it. As the night went on, he had a few beers and stuff like that, and he came out with a remark that he thought nobody could hear, and he was having a conversation with two other people, and the remark was horrendous. Like, it was bad, to the point where I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that he was my idol." So my idol actually turned into this guy who I was like, "I can't believe I've just heard him say that." It was really bad. I'm not going to name who he was.
Yeah.
But my probably one of my all-time favourite players from West Brom is a guy called Andy Hunt.
Andy Hunt.
Because as a kid growing up, I had the green and yellow strip.
Yeah.
And he scored a couple of goals against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Andy Hunt, as I was growing up, Lukaku was amazing. And Alden Wengi.
Yeah. What a player.
Alden Wengi was like, as I got older, that was
he was the
guy.
Yeah.
That was the guy until he left us and done that stupid thing where he turned up at training ground.
Yeah.
To sell himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, he scored a hat trick against Wolves as well.
Yeah.
So Alden Wengi. But my idol is no longer my idol.
Yeah. Steve, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you coming on. Really do. Thank you so much. No problem. Thank you.